Hi guys, well here we are, part 2 of the Mr. Beer experiment, and I've got all my stuff here. We're ready to bottle now. Now this Mr. Beer kit has been sitting in a relatively temperature controlled place for about a couple of weeks. I put it upstairs in the hall where the temperature generally stays around 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's where it's sat. Now a few days in, as you can see, there was some fermentation there, some action. You can see the foam around the edge of the fermenting vessel there. So that's how I knew that it was fermenting. And then about 12 to 13 days later, it had all settled down. There was no more bubbles or anything like that. Started to get a little bit clear, and I actually took a little sample of it, and it basically just tasted like flat beer. So that's what we're looking for. So we now know that it's ready. Now when I set out to do this Mr. Beer kit experiment, I wanted to do it as close to the original instructions as possible. Now of course, as you saw in the last part of this, I did make a few small minor changes to the procedure, but basically it's pretty much the same. And I used all the materials that came with the kit. I didn't use my own stuff. So it's pretty authentic. And like I said before, if you follow the instructions, you'll have no problems. And as you become a more experienced home brewer, you'll find your own ways of doing things. Okay? So I've got 8 bottles here. I've got myself a funnel. I've got some dextrose. Now this doesn't come with bottling sugar. Mine kit didn't come with bottling sugar. I don't know if the kits that come with the bottles also come with the sugar. I'm not sure about that. But at any rate, they just say to use granulated sugar. And so that's what most people have around the house. Because I'm a home brewer, I do have corn sugar available to me. And most people can get this in the grocery store. So I'm going to go ahead and use corn sugar because I know the results and the measurements. But if you can't get corn sugar, by all means, go ahead and use granulated sugar. I've used both, and I didn't see much of a difference between the two, but I've got some of this, so that's what we're going to use. I've got myself a little plate here. I've got my spoons, my measuring spoons, okay, and I've got my just about a gallon of lukewarm water, and the remaining of the sanitizer that they sent in the kit, the other half of what we didn't use. And I've got 8 1-liter bottles. Now my Mr. Beer kit didn't come with bottles. I have enough bottles around here. I didn't need the bottles. So I have 8 1-liter swing top bottles. They're all clean. And the first thing we're going to do is sanitize the bottles, okay? So let's take the other half of this sanitizer that came with the Mr. Beer kit, and let's add it to our lukewarm water. Now I do have Star San around, which is what most home brewers use, and I could go ahead and use that, but no, I want to use exactly what came with the kit. Okay, there is that. I think I got it all. Yeah, it feels like it. So I'll grab myself a lid. Oh, that's the wrong lid. Okay, well, that's not a problem. We'll just cover it with our hand, and we'll give this a little shake. To dissolve that sanitizer. And it looks like that worked. Okay. Yep, and I can feel that soapy feeling that I was telling you about before. So I know that it's dissolved and it's working. Okay, now, just move that out of the way for a moment. And let's get this. And what we're going to do, again, per the instructions, is pour a little bit of sanitizer. Whoops, not like that. Pour a little bit of... I do have a bigger funnel around somewhere, but I get made fun of when I use that one. I don't know where it is, but anyways. So we're going to pour a little bit of it into each bottle. Probably about half fill each bottle. Okay, and this is going to take a couple of minutes. So, you know, I don't think you have to, I don't think we have to stick around and watch me do this. Okay. All right. So that worked out okay. And now we just have to put the lids on. Now, if you were doing this with, you know, with bottles with screw-on lids, then you would, I guess you could put the lids on and then take them off and sanitize them separately. But I'm using these flip-top lids, which are, I highly recommend these swing-top bottles. They make life so much easier. Okay. Well, I mean, this is bottling 101, guys. There's, you know, sanitize and fill. Well, we have to prime the bottles too. So let's just give these all a little shake. This one's an odd one. I ran out of other ones. Give those a little shake to coat the inside with the sanitizer. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. There's all 8 of our bottles sanitized. And I'm going to pour the sanitizer in. They say to throw it down the sink, but I'm not done with it yet because I've got some spoons and stuff there to sanitize. So I'm going to get one of these little basins here that I use, and I'm just going to empty the sanitizer into here. Okay? I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, so they're all emptied out. My funnel has now been sanitized because I poured sanitizer through it, so that's good. And you don't want it to be wet because we're going to be pouring sugar through that, and it'll get all stuck. So now we've got just a little plate here and our spoons. And guess what? Into the sanitizer they go. All right. See, in the video that came with the kit, they were mentioning about sanitizing the spoons in the first stage, and oh, you got to do it now because that's now's when we're going to use them. So there we go. We're going to put that down there, and the spoons, and the ones that I need are going to be half a teaspoon and 1 teaspoon, because now these bottles, and I'll just put those down there to dry for a moment so we don't get stuck with our sugar. 1 liter bottles I find are best when you use 1.5 teaspoons of dextrose, okay? So regular beer bottles, 340 milliliter beer bottles, you use a half a teaspoon. 700 milliliter bottles or 750 milliliter bottles, you use 1 full teaspoon. And 1 liter bottles, you use 1 teaspoon and a half. Okay, so if you want to go and get the Cooper's carbonation drops, those things are very, very easy. You just drop 3 of them in each 1 liter bottle, and you're all set. Okay, so that's up to you. Now, I like them. They're a little pricey, but they're very convenient. So, and I got my 1 teaspoon and my half a teaspoon side by side. I'm just going to take a scoop of dextrose between the two like that. Dump them right in to each bottle. Simple. Just remembered why I hated bottling. This is only 8 bottles. I used to do 60. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, I don't really have a second camera set up, but what we're going to do now is we're going to use. Let's just move this stuff out of the way, and we'll just put it over here. And get that down there. We don't need that right now. All we're going to do is we're going to take the spigot. Here's the spigot here. Now, here's something that you might want to think about. Get yourself a Q-tip and dip it in the sanitizer that you saved back here. Okay. And then go around on the inside. I'm going to have to bring it down to the edge of the table here. And just go around on the inside of your your spigot. Okay? Because that's not been sanitized in a couple of weeks, right? So why not be safer than sorry? All right. There. Got it all up inside there. There you go. Okay. Now, you're not going to be able to see this, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to take each bottle that's got the priming sugar in it, and I'm going to put it on the spout, but I'm going to do it on an angle. So the spout's here. I'm going to slide the beer down the side of the glass. Now, normally we use, I don't think I have one because it broke, and I haven't bought another one because I don't bottle anymore very often. But you use one of these. Actually, I do have one. You use one of these. This is a larger one, but you use one of these little fill sticks that you know, but that doesn't fit onto there. Okay, so once again, we're just going to do it the way Mr. Beer says to do it. I'm going to try not to get any oxygen into the beer, so we're going to just gently put it on the tap there. I hope you guys can see this. You probably can't. But there, you can probably sort of see that. And I'm just going to turn it on and just slide the beer down the side of the glass. Doesn't get any easier than this. Now, I filled it a little too high. So I haven't done this before, so I'm doing this. So I'm just going to take the second bottle and just sort of pour a little bit in there. Just a little, little mistake there. There. So that's about perfect. It's about up to there. And we're just going to cap that off. Invert it a few times. And that's one. Okay, so pretty much that's all you got to do. There, I got that one right on. Takes a couple of times to get it right. Okay, so, there again, we've got 6 more to go, 7 more to go. Okay, I got 7 bottles and a half. Little over a half, actually. I did take a couple of samples while it was fermenting, so be careful when you do that. What I would suggest you do if you make this is do 7 1-liter bottles, and then the last bit of whatever's left in here, do it in smaller bottles, maybe 1 or 2 smaller bottles, because having a half a bottle like that is not really great, and I'm probably just going to dump that out. Okay, so I got 7 full 1-liter bottles and another about a half a liter. And if I had a half a liter bottle, it would have been great, but I didn't think about that. So anyway, so that's that. And we've got now. I had to tip the fermenter over the side of the table a little bit to get the last couple of bottles. Okay, so you can see that you've got the spigot is a little high up there, and you've got some beer left in there that won't come out unless you actually start to tip it. Whoops, and there it goes all over the floor. That's okay, I've got a mat down there. I highly recommend that you have some sort of a mat on your table. This makes it not slide around as easily. When you're opening and closing the tap, okay, you do have to hold on to it to get it to not move around. And it makes it a lot easier if you have it on a surface that's not quite so slippery. Okay, so those are my observations. All in all, this went really fairly well. I'm going to take the lid off of here and wash this and clean it all out. And we'll do a taste test, and we'll talk about my conclusion. Cheers.